Hi everyone, it's Nichol Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing a pop-up scene card using the brand new exclusive limited edition Tim Holtz Dash Away All dies that he designed specifically for Simon Says Stamp Cyber Monday event. With any purchase, $25 purchase of Tim Holtz product, you will get this die for free from Simon Says Stamp when using the code, and I will list the code in the description box down below this video. First up, I'm going to show that I die cut the sleigh from black cardstock, the moon from gold mirror cardstock, and the stars from silver holographic cardstock. Then I have a whole bunch of components. So I am mixing and matching a lot of different things together. The base of our pop-up card is the Slim Scenescape Builder. So this is not only a pop-up box card, but it's a Slimline pop-up box card. It does fit in a Slimline envelope when finished. I'm also using the Slim Snowbanks dies from Simon Says Stamp. This is going to have our trees and houses, and then I am using the Mama Elephant Slim Scenescape Rainbow add-on because it has this great add-on layer that you can cut clouds with. First up, I did die cut everything from smooth white cardstock, and so I need to add color to my scene. So the back panel of my card is going to be the sky. We of course have some clouds. Santa's up in the clouds, flying up over the rooftops, I guess I want to say. And then we have like our ground, which I want to be snow. So along the borders of clouds and snow, I am going to very lightly use Salvage Patina Distress Oxide ink to give it just a little bit of that cool wintry effect. I don't want to color the whole thing blue. I just want the edges to have a little bit of blue to them. So really lightly, I'm using the Waffle Flower stencil mat. That's going to help protect my work surface from ink. I've already stained my stencil mat, and so this works really well. I'm doing the two cloud borders, the snow, and then the front panel of the box, as well as the two sides. All of that I'm imagining is either clouds or snow, and so I want that all to be mostly white with just that hint of salvaged patina. Then for the background sky, this is where that magic is going to happen because this is where the moon and stars are going to go. And I really, really want to concentrate on making this special. So I use Salvage Patina first. This light area that I just inked is kind of where the moon is going to go. Around Salvage Patina, I'm going to then blend in Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink. I am using all oxides today. That's just kind of what I grabbed for first. They are super forgiving and blend beautifully. Next up, we have Chipped Sapphire. This is going to give that night sky effect. And I'm going to very generously apply the Chipped Sapphire all the way around my design. And we're just going to continue to blend and blend until we kind of blend that into Peacock Feathers, basically. And it looks worse before it looks better, always is what I say. I am going to ink the entire panel. I want it to be very smooth and seamless. Because you can look down into the card, I just want it to be all the way down to the bottom. Next up, I always like to take a little black soot when doing a night sky. We're going to blend that around the edges into the Chipped Sapphire. Now it still needs some blending. So we're going to go back with Chipped Sapphire and we're going to blend in the black soot and Chipped Sapphire really nicely. Then we need to go back with, well, I guess we're going to do a little more Chipped Sapphire. We need to make sure we have the black soot blended nicely. And then we're going to go back with Peacock Feathers and we're going to kind of fix this little area here. So we're going to blend Peacock Feathers out into Chipped Sapphire. And then really, it mostly probably covers up the Salvage Patina, but look at that beautiful blend. That's the sky I was looking for. Next, we're going to spritz the entire background with water from a distress sprayer and then blot it dry with a dry rag or paper towel. This is going to give some light areas of oxidation that I'm imagining as some snow. And we're even going to add additional snow here in a minute. I have a piece of Post-it tape and I am going to tape off the trunks of my trees. I'm letting the water dry on my background while I ink up the rest of the components for my scene. We're going to do all of our inking, then we're going to assemble the box and do all the finishing type of details. Rustic Wilderness is the color I picked for the top of my trees. I masked off the tree trunks so that I could color them a different color here in a minute. We'll just move that over to the side for a second. I'm going to use a little water to clean up my work surface, at least temporarily. I'll give it a good scrub later. Then for the church, I'm going to go back to salvaged patina and we are going to ink up the church. Now I want to go ahead and pop out the windows. If you wanted to, you could always inlay them back in if you were maybe doing a flatter design. I decided it doesn't really matter to me all that much. I don't want to keep them in here. So I went ahead and discarded them. Then I have two houses. I die cut the house twice. One of the houses I'm going to shade with Festive Berries for a little red house, and the final house I am going to shade with KITSCH Flamingo, which is pink, which is also the color that stained my waffle flower mat. So just popping out all those windows. I like the bright, happy colors here. There's a lot of dark night sky kind of moodiness, so adding a fun little color to our village scene here really makes it pop. The final thing we need to color are the trunks of the trees. I'm going to take a little gathered twigs, and I'm not going to worry about masking it off. I don't mind if a little brown gets into the bottom of the tree here. In fact, I kind of prefer it. And I am going to ink up the trunk of each of my trees with gathered twigs. So now everything is colored and we just have like finishing type of detail. Now, I already used the Distress Sprayer for kind of a snowy, wintry sky, but I want to add to that layer with more. So we're going to use some white gouache. We're going to water it down with a little bit of water. And then we're going to splatter this all over our sky. So I usually just take about a squirt or two of water, a small paintbrush, and then we're going to simply add snow everywhere. So the first few droplets when doing this technique tend to be kind of big. I don't want a lot of those. I want a lot of like little scattery snow. And the more you tap, the more you're going to get that. So you're starting to see that here, but I really filled the entire thing with snow. And as I'm tapping, you can kind of see those teeny tiny white flakes. That is what I'm looking for. Now, not only do I want the sky, to have snow, but I want the trees and the houses to look like they have snow falling on them as well. So I'm going to take a little bit more of the white gouache and I am going to simply splatter this all over these images. And there is our snow over everything. Now there is a bit of dry time for this step, so I actually walked away for a little bit and came back to put it together. Kind of while I'm waiting, I am going to stamp my sentiment for my card. So this panel is from the Slim Scenescape Builder. I die cut it from black cardstock, and then I'm using a Simon Says stamp, Snowflake Edges Sentiment, Sending You Peaceful Christmas Wishes, right in the middle of this panel. I loved that the thin but long style of this sentiment really kind of filled in the whole edge. That's basically what I was looking for in my stash, was something that would fit this design nicely, and I really liked the combination of fonts where there's some scripty and then some more kind of sans serif, and I liked that. So I am going to sprinkle on my white embossing powder so it really stands out against the black cardstock, and then we will heat set this. Anything that I could do while my background and elements were drying is what I'm going to do here. So not only am I going to do create my sentiment, but I'm going to need a bunch of what I call clear picks for my card. And that is created, I like to use acetate. I'm actually using the Simon Says Stamp acetate. It is a little thicker than some of the other acetate I have, although I have used Lawn Fawn and Hero Arts acetate in the past for this, and it works just as well. But I really thought the Simon Says Stamp acetate would be great for this, and it is. So I'm cutting about 1/4 inch picks from that to use. I am going to put adhesive on the back of my sentiment strip and pop it along the front, making sure to keep that Salvage Patina inked edge at the top because that's the snowy edge. That looks amazing and I love it. And here is that scrap of Simon Says Stamp acetate, and I am simply just shifting it over 1/4 inch at a time. It doesn't exactly have to be 1/4 inch either. You can cut it whatever you want. That's just kind of the guideline I use. And what this is it's going to make our sleigh and clouds appear to be floating. And I did die cut clouds from the Mama Elephant Slim Scenescape Builder. So we have the clouds kind of down below, and then we're going to have some clouds sticking up. And I tried to glue my houses and trees directly to the border in my card, and it just was not working very well. You'll see that here in a minute. So I will be using clear picks for all of those too, just to give them a little bit more sturdy look. On all of the tabs for my pop-up box, I am using some double-sided adhesive. I like to use a nice strong one. And then we're going to take our panel, which is dry, and we're going to attach the 2 side panels to the background. So I'm folding them down. I'm using a bone folder. I'm going to remove the backing paper from our adhesive, and these line up right along the bottom, or pardon me, each side of our pop-up box background. I like to use the bone folder once I have it in place to really make sure I burnish it and the adhesive is nice and secure. We're going to do this on each side of our pop-up box. That looks beautiful and I love it. Next up, I am going to go ahead and start folding my cloudy borders. I'm going to take the front panel. I've also worked on the snowbank panel and then the front panel, and we are going to attach the front panel to one side of the front edge of the box. Once I have this in place, I'm going to kind of fold it up. I'm not going to secure the other side yet. There is a reason why, and just to kind of show you the shape of our pop-up box. Isn't that cute? Now on this diagonal sloping side, this is where all of the borders go to build our scene, and they can go anywhere along this edge. So I'm just kind of guessing where I want these to go. I'm going to go ahead and attach one at a time, all to the same side of the pop-up box. So there is our snowbank, and then we have 2 cloudy borders. You can add as many of these inserts or layers as you want in your card. There are no rules at all. And you could line them all up with the bottom of the box, but I like different heights with my layer, so I tend to go ahead and secure them kind of at different heights. Obviously, whatever's going to be in the back is further or closer to the back edge of the background of the card, and that one's usually the highest. So there is our third and final layer inside of our pop-up box. Then what we want to do is normally we would secure the other side, but I do have one thing I want to create in the background that I think I should probably do first. So we're going to glue the moon and stars in place using a little liquid adhesive. I think it's going to be easier while my card is flat. There is the moon. And then the stars are really teeny tiny. I mean, so teeny tiny. So here's what I tried. I left it in here just to show you guys how something does not work at all. I thought if I left them in the cardstock and just put a little dab of glue on each star, I could pop them out with like a piercing tool or an embellishment wand or something, and it was gonna work so great. Well, for a few of them, it worked. And I'm a slow learner, so I thought if I just kept doing this, maybe it would work. Ultimately, I had to do it the good old-fashioned way. That means I had to pop these out on my mat and pick them up one by one and place them where I wanted them to go. I don't know that I used every single one of them, but I probably used almost all of them because I think they make a really big statement on the card. And ultimately, I kind of just created my own kind of flowing starry design. I love this though. In fact, I loved it so much that I actually die cut it again, and we're going to add a few to the front of the box where the sentiment is when we are all done. I'm going to speed through the adding of all of these stars to my background really quick. Once I've added all of these, it's time to assemble the box. What I like to do for this is we are going to I kind of flip it upside down because for me that just works a little bit better. It probably depends on how you've laid it out. But instead of trying to guess and line up each of these layers exactly where I lined it up on one side, lay it down flat, peel off the backing paper, make sure it's even with the, same distance from the bottom, and we're just going to simply lay over each layer. And I'm holding them in place with one finger while I fold over the next one with my other hand, peeling off all the backing paper. Then the front, we want to make sure it's lined up with the back. And then we're going to fold over the other side, and it's going to pick up all of these at once. I'm going to burnish it with my bone folder, and they are all going to be evenly spaced. This is the best way to do a pop-up card with no guesswork. I love it. Look how awesome this looks, you guys. Okay, it's time for Magical Santa and his sleigh to be added to the box. This is so much fun. It's like a silhouetted Santa and his reindeer. It is a big, substantial image as well. So many ways to use this. We're going to be tucking Santa and his sleigh between the two cloud layers. And I think because this is such a long image, 3 picks are going to give it much more stability than just maybe, well, obviously we would need more than 1, but even 2. So I went ahead and added 3 because it is going to have to fold up from the recipient, and I want to make sure that it's nice and secure. Now the thing about this is I thought it was kind of hard to line up 3 at one time. So I did 2. And then the third one I am just going to place onto the image and then into the box layer after I have secured the other 2. I love glue dots for this. No liquid adhesive. Liquid adhesive is not your friend when it comes to acetate. But glue dots, nice and strong. They're small and it works great. Now I leave my picks a little bit long. That gives you wiggle room to figure out exactly how tall you want them. I will flip the box over and kind of trim them down as needed. I start with much longer picks than what I actually need. And see how it almost appears that Santa and his sleigh is floating. Unless you're just at the right light, you can see them. I don't want to make it sound like you can't, but it does give the appearance that it's floating, which I think is so awesome. It's my favorite thing. I absolutely love to do this with box cards. So there is Santa and the sleigh, and really the card looks awesome just like this, but I love to say I'm extra, and so we are going to pop our images in. So I make a huge blunder right here, and I think it's important to leave it in because I did not want to tear my box apart and replace this border. And because I don't want to replace it, I have to find a way to disguise the fact that I started gluing the images to the snowbank. Now, it would probably have been fine, but I really want the snow to appear to be covering things, I guess. I don't know. Just to my eye, I didn't like it. And it left a little residue on my border. It's not super bad, but it's nothing that a little glitter won't fix. And glitter, really, for a snowy border, of course we need some glitter, so that's going to work great. Then I tried to glue my images to the back. I think if I'd glued them to the front like I started, they would have stayed okay. This was a nightmare. This did not work at all. They kept falling, and I leave this in to tell you guys because even clamping them with tweezers, it was not working. It was going to take forever. I was really I I had this great idea. I loved how everything looked up to this point, and then I was upset. But I figured out something. So while this is kind of drying, I guess, or I was hoping it was drying, believe me, it was not drying, I decided to start adding my clouds in, which these are floating as well, so they're going to be adhered with picks. And it dawned on me that there's no reason that the buildings and trees can't be adhered with picks. It's going to give them much more stability. Much more stability. And I'm not going to have to worry about the glue drying or not drying, as the case may be, or them slipping or anything like that if I'm using glue dots. So that's how I'm securing everything. It is okay that the pick is wider than the tree trunk, because when you see through this, it's clear. And this is how I secured everything. Even the church and the trees I originally adhered, I went ahead and went back in. I didn't remove them because they were glued at this point, but I just added a little piece of acetate behind, pardon me, each one. And the sense of security to make sure that they're all going to stay put really made me feel good about that. And I love it. I love this little scene. All created with just one little house, some trees, and a church from the Slim Snowbanks set. I have gotten so much use out of this Slim Snowbanks set that was part of the Stamped Timber release. I absolutely love it. And I think the size and scale of these buildings and trees are just perfect with the dashing through, or dash away all, the Santa and Sleigh set. I was really looking for things that would work with it, and I love it. I love how Santa and his sleigh is kind of in the background with the moon and all those sparkly stars. Now, I feel like the sentiment is a little plain right now, so this is what we're going to work on to dress it up. We also need to add our background panel, which there is this great stitched die, and I die cut that from smoke cardstock and added that. I'm also going to take some liquid glue all the way along my edge. Remember, I need to hide the fact that I have that little boo-boo there. So we're just going to draw some snow all along here. And I'm using Hero Arts Icicle Glitter. It's kind of a chunky glitter. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? And there is our snow in front of our houses. I love it. I think no one except you and me, I guess the whole internet, are going to know that there was a mistake there. You could even stamp on that background panel before adding it to your card if you want to, but that provides a nice place to write a note to the recipient. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this limited edition exclusive Dash Away All die set from Tim Holtz. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link down below in the description. Here is another video featuring Simon Says stamp products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.